All right. Today we are going to be learning about the tree ring and also with split cup rings, just ring pours. So, all right. Welcome, welcome. How's everyone doing? And we've got a variety of sizes of canvases to paint on. And I already have a bunch of paint mixed up. We are not going to be using silicone today. Nothing is mixed with silicone, but all of our paint is mixed the same consistency as we always do. It's 3 parts Floetrol to 1 part paint. And that makes up our fluid acrylics for our paint pouring. And each week we're going over a different technique. And this week it is tree rings. Hello, Janice. How are you doing? How was your week? So let me go over the colors for this week. And so I just a whole variety of colors. So we've got this Royal Lang Nickel is the brand, but it's cadmium yellow. And so the tree ring pour is always on just a slightly thicker side of the kind of the ratio of paint you want to go. Tree ring pour is the like thickest to Dutch pour is the thinnest. And then everything else is pretty much right in between the same consistency. Only a tree ring pour is a little bit thicker, and only a Dutch pour is a little bit thinner. Otherwise, all the rest of them, I do exactly the same. So a tree ring pour is slightly thicker, is how I do it. All good there. Oh, good, good. Yes, all good here too. So we'll start with that yellow, and then we have, so for this purple, I wanted a little bit lighter purple. So I have this Master's Touch Violet, and I put 1 part violet to 1 part white to make a little bit lighter. Then we have Basics Mars Black right here. So you can see that we have a variety of different brands. We've got my favorite, the Cheap Paint Turquoise. Then we also in Cheap Paint have Ultramarine Blue. And we also have gold in the Cheap Paint today. And then we mixed up some burnt umber with a little bit of white to create a little bit of a lighter brown for us. Then we also have Folk Arts Rose Gold. This is a beautiful rose gold. And we have Artist Loft's Deep Red. Love that red. And last one we have, or no, second to last, we have Master's Touch Viridian. And then the last one we have is a little bit of Apple Barrel Bright Magenta. So a whole variety of brands here. So let's get those moved out of our way. So those are the colors we're using today. All right. So those are all mixed up the same. So we've got a real nice, a little bit thicker than we would normally go with for all of our other techniques. So that's about 3 parts Floetrol, 1 part paint, and that's no water. And so no water gets it almost like it can stick up. So I put in just a tad bit of water, maybe like a half a teaspoon. Hello, Mr. Doughboy. How are you doing? You hope to see Mike? I don't know. I don't know if anybody else really wants to see that. So tree ring pours. I do not put silicone. I mean, you can put silicone, but you're not usually looking for cells in a tree ring pour. I'm going to put actually just a tad bit more water. Put a little bit at a time because you can't take it back out. So it's always easier to put a little bit, mix, check your consistency, and put a little bit more. All right. Still quite thick. Wow. You'll take Mike's place, his stunt double. All right. That's pretty funny. So since my paint is mixed with Floetrol, which Floetrol is just a paint extender, it's what we use as the pouring medium for this, because you got to have paint and a pouring medium to be able to make the fluid acrylics, unless you're using a pre-mixed fluid acrylic or already mixed pouring paint. Then you don't have to have Floetrol. But I am using Floetrol as my pouring medium. So what I'm going to do is I've got a little 6x6 inch canvas, a nice little gallery wrapped canvas, and we're going to do just a basic tree ring. So we've got a whole variety of tree rings we're going to do today. We're going to do just a basic one. We're going to do some with split cups. We're going to do some that are like a traveling tree ring, a wrecked tree ring, just all kinds. So gonna be Mike's stunt double. That is funny. So we've got a 5-ounce cup, which is plenty, more than enough. But these are nice deep sides, so we want to make sure that we really get that paint covered all down the sides. But that is really literally like so much paint for a little 6x6 inch. So with a tree ring pour, I pour it down the side. That's why I have it mixed up in my cups today. I'm not going to be if you were using it out of the squirt bottle and you're just squirting it in there, you're not going to get the definite, like layers of paint. You're wanting definite layers of paint. That's why you pour it down the side of the thing, kind of, and then it won't, like, it'll layer up real nice for you. So I'm just grabbing these paints, putting them down the side. We're going to just do a basic tree ring. But if you did want to use your paints that are mixed up in the squeeze bottle, what I do is I take the lid off. And then if you take the lid off, then you're able to just pour it down the side a little bit better. Oh, we're doing pretty good. How are you doing, Mr. Doughboy? We're doing pretty good. Been super, super busy. Got some seeds planted, just getting some spring cleaning projects. Some little minor home renovation stuff like that. So yeah, we've been pretty good. How have you been? I think I'm going to then end with this yellow. And then that's plenty of paint. Nice layers there. Okay. Now, some people now at this point will pour it in the middle and they'll like swirl it. I just pour it and just kind of real nice and slow, and it'll kind of make its own rings. Okay. I got to get a little bit too much caffeine today for this. I got to just hold with my hand. All right. So let's see what the chat. Oh, weather. Yeah, it's actually kind of a gray, rainy day. The last few Fridays has been super sunny, beautiful. I mean, the last few Wednesdays, but just beautiful. So that middle part, you would have wanted to get it a little bit more steadier. That was not a good example for the middle because now, but that's okay. I'll show you one in just a minute, a little bit more, but I like it creates a really fun look in the middle too. If you're looking for just the center to be the straight rings. Okay, so now because this is Floetrol, you are going to see a few cells. Floetrol just creates cells. If you're not wanting cells, you can go with like a Liquitex pouring medium. Liquitex pouring medium will have create less cells. And I did mix my paint up like way earlier today. You can even mix it up the night before. That'll create less air bubbles. And because I do not want cells, I am not going to torch this at all. So you can see how we've got the nice rings, but in the center, what we would want to do is if I could catch that last little bit. And so I'll show you that in just a moment, but that would have created, but it's still kind of a nice organic center. You can take a toothpick and kind of swirl that if you're wanting it to be more of a definite center, but it doesn't bother me. So I'm moving these aside because that is a 6 by 6 inch canvas. And now I'm going to grab an 8 by 10 inch canvas. So that was a tree ring pour. Now we're going to do like a traveling tree ring pour. So now we're going to do similar colors, a little bit different order, but similar colors. Oh, really, Mr. Doe? I didn't realize that. Yeah, you definitely wouldn't want cells then. I don't think anybody wants that type of cells. 8 by 10 inch canvas. We still have a 5. See, this last one, you can tell we used about 3 ounces of the 5 ounce. Now we'll use probably a little bit more of the full 5 ounce cup for the 8 by 10. So we're going to kind of go almost backwards in our colors here. So we're going to get some yellow more in the center. So what you're going to do is you're going to want to go backwards from the design that you're kind of looking for. So yellow is going to be my center. It's the first color I'm putting in. So and then I'm going to put a little bit of this Viridian. And I'm just pouring it down the side. Viridian turquoise, then the ultramarine blue. A little bit of that red. Let's throw a little bit of that black in. 8 by 10, that was about the size of it. Let's grab a little bit of that purple. And a little bit of that pink. So now we're going to do what's called a traveling tree ring pour now. And let's just maybe a little bit of this gold. Top it off with a little bit of this gold. I love, that's my favorite gold. This is that cheap paint gold. It's very pretty. So now we're going to do a traveling tree ring pour. You can just travel it just straight across canvas. You can kind of travel it around, but we're going to kind of just travel it around. You'll see what I mean by traveling. We're going to kind of just let it a lot of that gold went all right there, of course. Okay. If you're watching, you can see that my paints are actually even thicker than we would want them to be. So what we're going to do, that's no problem. Sorry guys, kind of concentrating here. I want to kind of break this up a little bit here, all this gold. So just a second, we're going to actually add a little bit of water to these paints. And then we're going to get a little bit better of a ring to this next pour. But that's still a good example of a tree ring, a traveling tree ring. See how this, now I'm ending this one in the center by really kind of going the swirls. And that'll be a little bit easier when I put a little bit more water in it. It'll do that a little bit better. Okay. Welcome, Judy. How are you doing? How do you know which colors go together? A lot of experimentation. Don't be scared to just throw some color combinations together. Pinterest is your friend as well. If you're on Pinterest, there's always, I like to play around and pin lots of paint color combinations from Pinterest inspiration. But it really depends on the technique. So say you're going to do a flip cup. A flip cup technique, those colors are going to mix a little bit more than, say, like we're doing now, a tree ring pour, where the colors are not muddying so much, not sticking to, they're definitely staying separate. So you could be a little bit more adventurous with your colors because you're not worried about them muddying so much in, say, a dirty pour or a tree ring pour like this. But say a flip cup or a swipe, you might want to use more. There's certain colors that just play well together, and there's certain colors that don't. But of course, it's all color theory, and like, for instance, orange and purple, they're going to create mud. Red and green, they're going to create mud. The opposites on the color wheel. So if you really want to do a pour with those opposites, it can be done. You just need to do a pour with certain techniques where it's a little bit easier. Like, for instance, a Dutch pour, that when you blow those together, they're going to mix together somewhat. So like I did a Dutch pour the other day where I had like greens and pinks and purple where it's going to muddy, but I separated those out. I had like little green spots, little red spot, little pink spots, green spots, and not line of just pink, line of green. That kind of helped not muddy it. So we've got a few cells just popping up just automatically. And with metallics and Floetrol, they just create cells. Metallics and Floetrol seem to, without any silicone in it. So this is kind of just a whole menagerie of color on this one. So don't be afraid to just go for it and just use any colors. Oh, thank you, Janice. Thank you. Yeah, if you're worried about muddying, just, certain techniques will muddy the paint a little less than other techniques. So now we have a 10 by 10 inch canvas. So we're going to do a wrecked tree ring. Hey, Amber, how are you doing? Thank you. Thank you. Oh, my hands are getting it all messy. That's okay, though. You just wipe it off and no big deal. So, all right, so we're going to do a wrecked tree ring here. Now I'm going to get a little bit larger cup. And we're going to do this one in white, black, pink, turquoise, and rose gold. Thank you. Thank you. So now with a wrecked tree ring, so that's just all these are just fancy names for the same technique, just slight variations of the same technique. Now we're pouring it down the side. I went over the colors. Oh, you know what we didn't do? I said too, I want to add a little bit of water. But you know, if we start at now, we got to have the same consistency. That's the thing is, okay, I just remembered I want to add water, but I've already got 2 in here. If I go and add water to all the rest, but I could set this aside and use it for something else. Because if I add water to some and not the others, then they're not all the same consistency. When you go to tilt it around, it'll like separate weird. So we're going to now set that aside. We're going to add water, but we can't use, because some of the 2 colors have water and then not in that cup. So no big deal. We're going to stop, add some water. We're going to add to the turquoise, the pink, the colors we're going to use in this next one. Hey, Tessa, how are you doing? First one looks like I clean on. All right. Someone's snorting. Oh my, all right. So we're just adding just a touch of water. It's maybe a 1/4 of a teaspoon because we only have about a 1/2 cup in each of these, not too much left. That one needs just a little bit more. You want them all the same consistency, but you want them a little bit thicker than you would do for, say, a swipe, a dirty pour, some of those, but not too thick. So 3 parts Floetrol, 1 part paint, and probably like 1/2 a part water, 1/3 of a part water maybe. Yeah, we're doing pretty good, pretty good. Been busy getting the house all spring cleaning and getting seeds started and ready to get our we're doing container garden. Just, you know, we don't have a ton of space. We were thinking about doing a raised bed, but we're not real sure. Back to working out and lurking. All right. Well, thank you for lurking. So we're just adding a tiny bit of water. We noticed these were a little bit thick, so just bear with me while I add a little bit of water. That's what's nice to have a little squeeze bottle of water sitting aside. And if you're mixing up and using your paints within a day or 2, you can mix it with just tap water. But say you're going to mix it in your bottles and you're going to store those bottles of paint for several months, which they do store in the squeeze bottles. If you mix them up, they will last several months. But if you are going to store and save them, you might want to use distilled water at that point. But if you're going to use your paint right away after you mix it, you can get away with tap water. So a couple drips full on this one. We'll give that a little quick mix. All right, so I think the colors we're going to use, oh, no, the rose gold, I'd like to use that, and that needs to be a little bit thinner. Yep, that's what we have started so far, is 7 different types of peppers and then a bunch of herbs, but then we also are starting just a whole menagerie, a bunch of lettuces, kale, I know it's the wrong time of year, but we always are, we're learning here with the what times of year for kale. And what else are we starting? What else did we got? A bunch of seeds. So those, and then the white, and then we'll get to pouring that one. Oh yeah, definitely. But just add the water a little bit at a time, because you can't take back. Always remember, it's much easier to add a little bit more than to take any back. So, okay, we're starting with a whole new cup because we want them all the same consistency. So now that we've got them a little bit thinned down, we're going to do the wrecked ring pour. So what that means is we're just doing a regular old tree ring pour. We're layering them in, pouring them down the side and layering them in. But once the tree ring pour is done, I'm going to run a popsicle stick or my finger. You can run anything through it and wreck it is what it's called. So this one's going to have white and pink and viridian and turquoise and rose gold. And it's a 10 by 10 inch canvas. So we put the layer of colors we want, and I'm actually just going to go one more layer of those same colors. Like a little bit smaller, not quite as much, but of those same colors. Okay, that's plenty of paint for this size canvas. Can't even run a mic through, huh? Okay, you can see I'm so shaky. There we go. There we go. A little bit of help from the other hand. That rose gold is kind of taken over. Oh, see, I did it. So you want to get your hand under there, not have that happen. I don't want to wreck this one. Should I wreck this one? You were waiting for one of them to say that. I'm going to wreck it. Okay, so we're going to take, we're just taking a palette knife and we're going. All right, now we're good. And that's what they mean by wreck it. Literally just run something through and you're kind of wrecking the rings. That's all that means. So tree ring pour, just like we've done each week, we've done dirty pour, flip cup, swipe. There's little variations to each of the techniques that makes like a big difference. So we're losing a lot of the rose gold of what you're seeing on camera, but it's really feathering through kind of really nicely. So what we're going to see, it's going to be hard to see the rose gold on camera, but what'll happen is when it dries, it's going to have a real nice feathery rose gold through it. All right, let me wipe my hands clean. No, it was a variety of paints at Amber. At the beginning, I went through, but really, honestly, the only one that was craft paint was the bright magenta and then the folk art rose gold. Otherwise, they were a mixture of the cheap paint brand and Master's Touch, Artist Loft. It was really, honestly, a menagerie of varieties. But the only two that were craft paint were those two. The rest were like medium bodies. Thank you. Thank you. So that's what we would call a wrecked tree ring pour. All right, get that set aside. So now I'm going to do a quick split cup with another little 6 by 6 inch tile, canvas. I've got a split cup. So I've got 4 compartments. And so we're going to do another ring pour in the middle. So you can do with a split cup, you can do the same as I've done the other ring pours with a regular old cup. So you can do it where you're just pouring straight in the middle and doing rings, or you can kind of do a traveling. So this first one, we're going to do just regular ring pour it straight in the middle. So for this one, and we have a 6 by 6 inch canvas. It's a gallery wrapped, really a deep sided one. Janice, have you been able to use your, have you had a chance to pour with your split cups? See, I get stuff all in my hands and then. So, all right. Now we're just gonna, so we did add water to all these, but we did not add water to a couple of these. So we're gonna add water to this yellow real quick so we can use it and it'll be the same consistency as the others. Yeah, I really love the Master's Touch paints as well. You get the Master's Touch paints at Hobby Lobby. I honestly hate Hobby Lobby. I hate what they stand for in their company, but they're amazing paints. So, all right. We have no silicone in today. So we're putting in that real brilliant cadmium yellow, and that was a, I can't even remember what you call it, Royal something or other, Lang Nickel. Royal Lang Nickel was the brand for that one. Awesome, awesome, Janice. That is awesome. So I got these split cups. Mike made these split cups. We have gotten a 3D printer, and he's got a shop that he's selling split cups on Etsy. And so that's where I got mine. It's right here at home. We're making them. And we're adding more and more colors and so yeah, I use just a variety of brands of paint, honestly. It's all that matters is if they're all the right consistency. So all right, what color? Let's throw some purple in there. But the purple does need a little bit of water. So this one, we're not going to travel. We're just going to go rings in the middle. Judy, yeah, I don't put a base coat down. I see there's no need to do it. I am not wanting cells to pop up. So if I were to put a base coat down, and because I use Floetrol as my pouring medium, then what would happen is if I say use a base coat of white, and then I did a ring pour, what's going to happen is I'm going to have little white cells pop up usually. Sometimes, not always, but the risk of having those white cells pop up is pretty high. So I don't want cells. So no, I don't put a base coat. You don't have to, but if you want to, you can always put a base coat, but you definitely don't have to. But great question. Great question. So, all right, now we're just going to do sorry, trying to concentrate here. I'll get caught up with the chat in just a moment. And honestly, a tree ring pour or a ring pour is one of my most difficult pours, only because I have had strokes, and so I'm very shaky. But you can still do it, even if you are shaky. Might take both hands. Yeah, we just got, I know, Amber, it's a tough, especially when you're trying to, when things are on sale and you're trying to save money, and I understand when that's the only place to buy something too. We just got a Hobby Lobby. We just recently, but I haven't actually gone. I still haven't gone. I'm still at home, guys. I have not. I'm still not out and about or staying home. Doctor's orders. But hopefully soon I'll be able to get the vaccine and then that'll be okay. So, all right, that is with a split cup and just kind of helping it down the edges. And that's even with a shaky split cup. Kind of just moving it a little bit more to the center. All right, let me wipe my hands off. Oh, you have a small Michaels? I buy so much online. I order so much online that I haven't been into a Michaels, I haven't even been into the Hobby Lobby that we just got here in town. So I order so much online, really. But yeah, and then I also like to support, we have a Craft Warehouse, a very small little local chain. And I like to go there and support them as well. That's where I buy the cheap paint. So, all right, now we're going to do a split cup, but we're going to do a traveling a little bit more split cup. Yeah. Okay. For this one, then. Okay. Now we have an 8x10. Oh, you got your first one last week, Janice. That's so good. That is, and I am also high risk medical, but they're still doing people locally. We had a little bit of a problem at the first getting vaccinations for everybody. So they're still doing like seniors and people like 60 and over. So I am right in the next group of people. It's so funny because we have like risk category 1A, 1B, 1B tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, 1B tier 4. It's like ridiculous different. So we're using the same colors, same cup, guys, but we're going to travel with this one is the difference. So, all right, that's a deep red, then the cadmium yellow, and which I think it was this. Oh, that's, we can look right in there and see what color. Trying to guess what color, but just look. So, all right, then the ultramarine blue. And then this purple was one that I had mixed white and a little bit of a darker purple. Permanent violet or something. Or it was Master's Touch violet. Teasing you with the nice big one. Yeah, you can always travel to Portland, Amber. There's plenty of large ones in Portland. So yeah, you can travel and get to some nice big Michaels, but it's a little ways for you. So all right, guys, we're just gonna do it's kind of a traveling split cup one. And you can do little rings and then go traveling, or you can just kind of travel. But to make it kind of still in the ring pour. And a little bit more of a ring here, and then we'll kind of stretch those out. And then I am going to do one more split cup, And then we are going to do a big, large, whoa, we got a glob of purple that came out there, but that's all right. It kind of covered itself. But then we're going to do a large 16, well, not too large, 16 by 20, with multiple rings. With multiple cups without like traveling around. This one has multiple rings, but we traveled around kind of. And then next week, I would like to do a dips. The technique we will be talking about will be dips. Which is one of my very favorites. And I'm going to also show you dipping photo paper. We're going to do some pours on photo paper next week and on some tiles, some canvases. We're going to do a whole variety of different dips. So, all right, then there's a traveling ring split cup. Yes, dips are awesome, and they're so easy, so easy. Welcome, Divra. Let me know how to say your name. I don't want to. Is it Divra? Awesome. Welcome, welcome. Thank you for coming. Michael's is really hit and miss. It is. Last week they had the canvases 70% off. So I got in, I did order some online, a bunch of canvases, just some small ones. I want it when you 70% off is a nice time to get the big canvases. But those are kind of easier to go in and get. It's kind of hard to order the big canvases online because you never want those big ones to have any sort of, it's like when you order the little value packs, you're not so much worried about a blemish or a, on it. But if one of those big ones, I'd be heartbroken if I ordered online and got a big canvas and it was damaged. But so I did order a bunch of the small ones, these 8x10s and some 4x12s. They had big sale. I'm not sure if that's still going. I know that was last week. So I'm going to put a little bit of this still to the center. Then I'm going to go down. And this was the traveling split cup. All right. And now I'm not torching these because I do not want cells. You would automatically pop some bubbles and you would get cells. Even if you don't have silicone, you get a few random cells. And with Floetrol, especially. All right, so we're going to move that one aside. All right. So one more 10 by 10 inch. And this one is going to be split cup as well. But we're going to use a couple of split cups for this one. We're going to use 2 little split cups. And we're going to use some of this brown. And some turquoise. We may have to mix up a little bit more paint to do this larger one. You know what I'm going to do? I know exactly what I'm going to do here. We're going to show with a little bit of silicone. So some of these, I'm going to use some of my paints that are from my bottles that do have silicone. And we're going to show a split cup with silicone. Split cup, a tree ring with silicone. A little bit of the difference. Let's see if we can get some of this out of there. There's barely any left. But some does have silicone. Gather up some paints with silicone. Just a moment. I'm going to grab some paints with silicone some of the similar, same colors, but they have silicone. And we'll just do one with silicone. All right, so now I just had to step over a few feet and grab a couple of paints here, because otherwise we're going to run out of the paint that's all mixed up without silicone. So, all right, we're going to use some of this turquoise. Top off that blue. And these are all mixed, still the same consistency, but we do have a couple of the colors will have silicone. And we'll do a couple of different rings with different colors. That'll be, get some of this gold in there for sure. All right. And some of this, it's a plum, Craft Smart Plum. All right. Now, oh yes, around the holidays, you were able to get some of those sales. Awesome, awesome. Making a little bit of room for the next one, but I'm getting a little ahead of myself. So, all right, what we're going to do is we are going to pour these separately, but leave little spaces. That red, it's a little bit chunky. It's okay though. It's what it is. It's not that it's chunky. It's a little bit thicker than the other three colors. So you are going to see when I go to turn it or to spread it out, you will notice actually the red may move a little differently than the rest of them. But you can see silicone here. The red had silicone and the turquoise. Sorry guys, just kind of paying attention here. All right, let's spread that around, and we might need to use a little bit of that for the corners. Oh, you like the spout on it? Awesome. So you can see what now a ring pour with silicone. A little bit of the difference here, especially with that first cup I used. Seeing a little bit of some cells popping up. And, you know, it just depends on the look you're going for. Some people absolutely despise cells and they do not want cells to pop up. And some people love them. It just depends on the look you're going for. And I'm really honestly, it just depends. Sometimes I do love them and sometimes I do not want them to pop up. In a tree ring pour, you usually don't want them to pop up, but it's a nice little difference here to see with silicone, without. Okay, so now I'm just kind of pulling the design back to the center slightly. And I'll get all those edges in just a moment. We do have a goober over here, but we're going to get that in a moment with a toothpick. It's better, a little bit safer. And we are going to be making a little bit larger. Right now in the shop, we have 4-ounce and 9-ounce split cups. And so we will be making some larger ones here coming up as well. So that'll be really nice to have some varieties of sizes. So making a little bit of room here, you can see all kinds of cells popping up, especially right through here. That first cup I used had that blue, had a lot of silicone in it. So, and the one thing I would say with the split cups, make sure to wash them pretty soon after using them. All right, now I'm just surveying my colors. I am going to mix up a little bit of turquoise to make sure we can do this last one. So just a moment, and I'm going to, so just the cheap paint and Floetrol. All right, and always give your Floetrol a nice little shaky. Yes, we have a shop. Mike got a 3D printer, and we've been making split cups, and we have a couple more things coming out. Let me show you. We're going to have these coming out too. So this is like if you did a bottle bottom pour and you pour it on this. We're going to call it kind of, I don't know, a pedal tool or something like that. But it kind of makes petals, and it has more of the crevices than what a bottom of a bottle has. So we're going to have these coming out real soon as well. So yeah, that's been kind of Mike's. And for those that don't know, Mike is my husband. So Mike the Greek, he is my husband, and it's his kind of new venture he's been working on. So that's been really fun. So yeah, we have a variety of colors. We're adding more colors all the time. I'm just mixing this up. A little bit of turquoise. Yeah. So I'm going to hand this one off to Mike, and we're going to get a 16 by 20 up here. So check out the different in that one. So we do one last painting, a 16 by 20. I will get those up on, and I just use the bottom of yogurt cups, or, so we're just giving this a little. I'm going to put just a tad bit of water in there. So I used 3 parts Floetrol to 1 part paint there. Always make sure you scrape your sides, get all the way around, get the bottom so you can get all of that. So, okay, let's get that one up on some supports. Always reuse, recycle. I've got cups that I've reused over and over and over again, and they're stuck together. Yogurt cups, pudding cups, little fruit cups, you know, everything. Just reuse it all. So again, this will be our last one, guys. Sorry about that. Let's see if I can get it all the way. We might have to move the camera slightly. Okay, guys, I'm going to move the camera. So I'm going to put my hand over it so that it doesn't, like, get you guys all. Sorry about that. Get you guys all dizzy. So sorry. So, okay, what we're going to do is we're going to do multiple rings, multiple cups. We're going to do probably like 4 cups. We got a large 16 by 20. We're going to use most of this paint up that we have mixed up. No silicone in these ones. So, all right. We may have to mix a little bit more paint for this large of a canvas, but we're going to be all right. Using up the last of that pink. Using up the last of that. Okay, so what do you guys vote? Did you guys like the tree ring pours? Which technique did you guys like? Which one the most today? Like the wrecked tree ring pour, the split cups, the which else did we do? We did a traveling tree ring, a wrecked one. Did you like that last one with silicone? So, all right, now I'm going to start pouring. The first one doesn't matter because it's just going to the bottom. Now for the next colors, I'm just pouring down the side. And this one is going to be colorful, a whole variety of these colors we use today. And you pour them down the side so you get an even layer in there. You don't want them to mix through. You want it to be layered in the cup. Different techniques, different like that. You like the traveling ring best, but you love them all. All right, awesome. Thank you. Deciding which one to put some of this gold in. We got quite a bit of black still mixed up. I don't want to put black right by yellow. So the reason I don't want to put black right by yellow, what will happen is we'll get kind of a funky green black out of there. So we'll put blacks by some of these, but we're going to put a color in between and then we'll put black. But if I were to put black right by yellow, we'll kind of get a funky black green color. So we need, I'm looking at all my colors I have mixed up. I think we're going to get some bright green in here, guys. So I'm going to take the lid off of this one. I don't think this one has silicone. It may surprise us. It may end up having silicone, but that's okay. Took the lid off so I can pour it right down the side. So we're going to pour different, kind of like that last one where we had different rings. All right. Let's see. What colors do we have left? We're really running out of. All right. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab these off the side. Just kind of finishing off some of them. Mike liked the wrecked one. Awesome. All right, so let's finish some. All right, so now we're going to start pouring those. And this one's going to be a real bright, colorful one. And so you can go. kind of like, I don't know. It's more of a straight pour when you do that because you don't get the rings. So we do not have silicone, but we're automatically getting some cells, and that is because we have that gold. That gold with Floetrol will create cells. Not all the time. It's very unpredictable. All right, so that's our first cup. Now we're going to do another one. We might wreck these ones too. We'll see when we get done. I'm not going to decide just yet. This one, I think I'm going to go right in the center. Well, I'm going to go a little bit off-centered. Okay. You can definitely tell the different thicknesses. That's why it's imperative. Here I am showing you guys all the rolls, and I've got them way off thicknesses in this cup. Okay, we have 2 more cups. This is a 16 by 20, so it does have quite a bit more paint needed. So this one, so what I'm trying to show with this one is kind of a variety. You don't have to do the cups all the same colors. It's kind of fun to show kind of a variety of colors. I've done them rainbow too. It's beautiful to do tree ring pours with different colors of the rainbow with each cup. You can get up taller. You can get up down real low. You can experiment with all kinds of just slight variations going. Putting it out real slow, putting it out real fast. What's great about pouring on tiles, it's great, it's cheap, 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 so you can really do a lot of experimenting like this. So last one, we may travel this one. I don't know. Should we? And what makes this a difference between just like a dirty pour? A dirty pour, I would just be pouring out. I'm kind of making the rings fall and traveling with it. That's what kind of makes it a traveling ring pour. If I was just pouring it out and like more like just going along like I just did, that's more a dirty pour. So now this is really going to take some stretching to get all this. It's a 16 by 20-inch canvas, so. And our cells are popping up. You do see quite a bit of cells popping up, and that is due to that gold. So what we're going to do is we're going to mix up another paint cup because we don't quite have enough, but that's okay. We're going to get this spread about. We're going to see what we end up with, and then we're going to mix up another color. We've got actually quite a bit of paint. It is actually stretching out quite a bit. You want to go nice and slow so you don't, the faster you go, of course, the muddier you're going to get, the more of a mixture. Sorry, it's kind of off camera right now. I'm trying to tilt it more on camera. But you can see the difference in how we traveled. We went really kind of real fast around. The different, techniques. So real quick, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a little bit of black, and that black is going to help me get to the edges a little bit better. So what you can do is you can take a complementing color. You can take your white, your black, any color out of your, and kind of just go along the edges to give it a little bit more. It'll kind of slide, give it something to kind of glide on there. And you will get a little bit of black edges, but that's okay. That was a 16 by 20 inch canvas, so it does need quite a bit of paint. All right, so you can take that and this kind of spread it out, or you can just start stretching it out. I'm going to get it to the edges a little bit. And that kind of makes those pop there as well. So we are going to stretch them out just a little bit more, but not completely to each edge. This is my last one for today, but next week we will be discussing dips. So, okay, now we're going to just kind of stretch it kind of over into that black. Sorry, it's hard with this 16 by 20 to make sure it stays on frame. There's just at points when you're turning it that you can't really. So sorry about that, guys. But I will get it back. You can see it in just a moment. Sorry about that. All right, we're very close to getting it down to the edge. All right, let's go back to the center a bit. Okay, now you can kind of see that kind of makes it kind of pop there. Just kind of helping it out right here at the edges. Sorry, my reach right across there. Okay, so that is now with multiple cups. You don't have to, and we could have layered the cups exactly. You can do 4 cups layered in exactly the same colors, but then it's kind of fun to give kind of a variety. And it's also a great way to use up the last of any colors. We just got a little bit of edges, and I always go through and do edges a little bit. Ooh, it was not coming out, and then all of a sudden it's like, okay, now all the black's going to come out. That's all right. Oh, thank you. Thank you. So you can see how the black kind of lays over the top of the gold actually lays over the top of the black, creating a little bit of cells. You can see where I kind of went more like in an intentional swirl at the end, creating almost like an abstract rose. You can really do all kinds of different things. Now, this one, you can see where I was a lot more really trying to be intentionally steady so I get definite rings. But this does not have any silicone. So look at how many and I did not torch it. That is because metallics and Floetrol just kind of do that. So, oh, thank you, thank you. So, variety of colors, kind of an interesting, kind of abstract, a different one than the kind I'm used to doing, maybe. So, all right, guys, do you have any questions? Next week, when we do dip, we will be dipping tiles. We will dip some little wood things from the Dollar Tree. We will be dipping. I will be also showing you how to dip and paint pour using photo paper, and also some canvases. We will also do a reverse dip flour. So there is every type of dipping you can do. Oh my gosh, I have had black paint all over me. That's one reason I don't like painting with black. It sure gets everywhere. And we will not be dipping Mike. He has said no. No, I didn't wreck it. I kind of traveled, but I didn't really wreck. We could have chose one of them to wreck. I don't know. You kind of just that's why with paint pouring, you start out with kind of a mission, an idea in mind, but sometimes the paint does a little differently or what it wants to, and you just kind of got to go with it. You can't really fight it too much. Don't wreck it. All right. Looks awesome as is. Okay, good. Thank you. So, all right. So you can see that you can do the same technique, tree ring pour or ring pour, and just do little slight variations. And just the smallest little slight variation will just make a big difference. You can do them with regular cups. You can do them with split cups. You can do them all kinds of different ways. So, all right, guys. I'm not seeing any more questions pop up. But if you do think of a question afterwards, you can always comment down below, ask me a question afterwards. I am always willing to answer any questions. And even if I don't know the answer, because I do not know everything, I am no expert on this, I usually will try to find you the answer and refer you to maybe somebody else that does kind of maybe is a little bit more of an expert on possibly that technique or that product or whatever. So sometimes I might refer you to another channel that maybe explains it very, very well or something like that. So always remember, I don't claim to be any sort of expert at this. This is just what works for me, and that's just how I do it. So, and thank you guys. Thank you so much. Yeah, so many different ones on one canvas. And what's also fun is this is just different ways of doing a tree ring on one canvas. I love to add a dirty pour and a flip cup and a swipe and a blown pour all on one canvas. That's what's kind of fun with the bigger canvases. You can do a whole variety of techniques on one canvas. But yeah, a bunch of different colors, a bunch of different ways of doing a tree ring pour just on one canvas. And there's plenty of more ways too. I didn't even show everything. So, all right. Yes, thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you for being here. I appreciate everyone. I appreciate everyone that comes by and hangs out and supports the channel and just chats. It's so nice to just hang out and chat with you guys sometimes. So, thank you so much for hanging out today, guys. I really, really, truly do appreciate each and every one of you guys. I appreciate you. And thank you for hanging out and being here. So, all right, guys, have a nice week. And I will be back live on Wednesday at 2 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And I do have a couple of videos. I have a video of a wave pour. I have some videos of some Dollar Tree stuff I poured on. And I have a fun Dollar Tree pouring video coming up. A super fun Dollar Tree pouring video coming up. So, all right, guys, thank you so much for hanging out. And you guys have an awesome week. And be the change you want to see in the world, guys. Be the change you want to see in the world. Have a good one. Thank you.